Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Emerge 5, where we're doing something a little bit different this week and looking at an emerging course and certification. As EM360 fans will know, Dr. Eric Cole is a long-time collaborator with us and is now launching a 6-module course on February 16th, which will give you a CISO certification, monthly group coaching calls with Dr. Eric Cole, and an exclusive certification LinkedIn group. This is the only real CISO certification that is developed by a CISO and covers the strategic mindset of what is needed to be a security leader, and we've got some exclusive clips as a taster of what's to come. Kicking us off at number 5, we've got Be a Winner. Now, Eric's mindset is if you go in thinking you're going to fail, then you've already lost a war, and why are you even there? Yes, there are challenges, but challenges are there to be overcome.
So I have a lot of quotes that I'm going to use because I think they illustrate really core principles. There are those who look at things that exist and ask why, and there are others who look at things that do not exist and ask why not. Which person are you, right? You want to go in and be able to say, why doesn't this organization have a successful program? I know the last 5 CISOs were not successful, but that's because they're not me. Right? I hear so many people go, Eric, I'm not going to be successful at this company because the last 5 people failed. I said, don't take the job. They said, why? You told me it was a great opportunity. I said, because you already decided the outcome. You already decided you were going to fail. You just said because of other people who are not you, you have decided that based on that information that you are not going to be successful in that job. So why are you taking it? And it's sort of that they step back and they're like, interesting, because we say things that we don't even realize, but we're sending a message to our brain. So we need to step back and go, you know something? This is going to be an amazing opportunity because the previous 5 people don't know what I know, and they weren't looking at the problem as creatively as I did. And therefore, I'm going to be wildly successful and the best CISO they ever had.
At number 4, we have multiple levels of protection. Now, we would all love this one fixed solution that is never breached and always works, but unfortunately, that's not a realistic dream. Eric outlines the importance of having multiple devices to protect an organization.
I want to make sure that we're understanding that defense in depth is more than just a numbers game. This idea of defense in depth is no single technology is going to make you secure. There is no single technology. There is no magic box, right? That if you put on the network and you sprinkle some pixie dust over it, it will magically make you secure. That's why we have to go in and have multiple levels of protection in our environment. Now, question, what if there was a magical box that if you put it on your network, it would magically make you secure? Would you want to use it? Absolutely not. And here's why. If all your security is tied to one box, if there's only one device that's providing all the security across all your components, how many devices does an adversary have to bypass or get around to compromise your network? Just one. Just one. I don't like that. I don't like having a single point of failure. I don't like having a single point of compromise. So I always want to have multiple devices in play that's protecting your organization.
At number 3, we have value versus risk. A CISO should always get excited about the challenge presented to them of balancing functionality and risk and how to bring it to an acceptable level for organizations.
So to me, what's obvious to us is not obvious to others. So the rule that I have after that experience and many with executives is I always have the conversation. I'll always sit there and go, okay, here's the value and benefit, here's the security risks. First and foremost, is this risk worth it? Because if they come back and they're like, Eric, I thought the functionality was pretty cool and it might help the organization a little bit, but I didn't realize how big a risk it was and what a big exposure, so therefore it's probably not worth it. That happens once in a while, not always, but it does happen. The more likely is this, Eric, this functionality is so important and so critical to the business we need to figure out a way to make this acceptable. We need to manage those security risks because I need the functionality. These security risks are too big. I can't risk a $30 million fine. So you got to figure something out. And that's where the world-class CISO goes, oh yeah, it's game time, right? That's where the creative juices start flying, because then we figure out two things. First, what is the acceptable level of risk? Because it can't be zero. You won't be able to afford that, right? So we got to figure out what is going to be the acceptable level, and then what do we need to do to reduce that risk to an acceptable level?
And number 2, try to say yes. Now, let's all be honest here, it's sometimes easier to say no to a project or a new idea due to your own time and issues in setting it up. So what happens though if we change our mindset and we start looking at the word yes?
So if somebody comes up and asks whether we can do something or not in the name of security, I know the traditional method is no, or if it sounds crazy or bizarre, we want to say no, no, no. But in reality, if it could really help the business and it could make the business significant money, why wouldn't we say yes and figure out and be creative in how to do that? Remember, it's ultimately going to come down to whether or not it helps the business. And I will just be honest with you. If your company is struggling a little bit and there's a new idea that can make the company $200 million, and they come to you because it's ridiculous. Let's say it's something just off the wall crazy. They want to put all client data unencrypted on a public website. Just off the wall crazy, but that could make your company $200 million. I know the security engineer in you wants to say, no, are you crazy and out of your mind for doing that? But instead what you need to say is, if this is important to the business, we could figure out a way to make it secure. We can work with you to come up with some options to alter the design, modify, or change it so we can make it secure, but we're not going to go in and say no, because let's face it, today, if you say no, they're going to do it anyway. They're just not going to invite you to the meeting.
And at number 1, defensive strategy. The old saying goes that the best defense is a good offense, but I think we can switch it to say that the best defense is understanding the offense. And this is one of the key areas that needs to be focused on to be secure.
Because let's face it, your role as a CISO is to defend the organization, is to build an appropriate strategy for properly defending your organization from attacks. So because you're responsible for the defensive strategy, you need to make sure that you understand the offensive strategy. Because if you don't have a high-level understanding of how the offense works and how they operate, it's going to be very difficult for you to build an effective strategy. And this probably is one of the big reasons of why organizations have strategies, they spend a lot of money, and they still get compromised and broken into, is because they did good things, but they didn't do the right things that really matter. And the right things are ultimately to stop the offense from scoring, stopping the offense from breaking in, and if they do, to catch and detect them in a timely manner. So this section is really to sort of get inside the mind of the offense, understand how the offense works and how they operate, and the difference between basic, standard attacks and advanced threats.
So those are just 5 tasters of what you can get from this fantastic 40-hour course. So make sure you go sign up today at safe.secure-anchor.com/CISO-Cert1, and of course we'll have the link down below. This is an important course to sign up to, so make sure you get involved now and make the right decision for your career. That's all for now. We'll be back next week with another episode in the Emerge 5 series. Until then, thanks for watching.